V8 Online's live coverage of round 3 of the iRacing V8 Supercars official series, brought to you by V8 Online. This week we're at Suzuka, bit of a change up from usual for a V8 Supercar. Tonight with me is Jake Burton. Welcome along, Jake.
Yeah, hey Sam, not only is it a Suzuka, it's a very cold Japan tonight. 26 degrees out there. These guys are going to be struggling on this first lap, first few corners of this one. Lots of high load corners, lots of direction change in the first sector, but we should see some blisteringly quick qualifying times as we actually are now in qualifying.
A bit of a change from what we saw last night. Only 2 laps of qualifying tonight. Track temp being down 26 degrees, so fairly grippy, and just waiting for the first couple of guys to set their times. This is a long out lap. I think it's going to be around about a 2-minute lap here tonight.
Yeah, I think that's about right. Also, there is a 65 litre fuel restriction, and I'm not entirely sure, but I'm assuming that's been done to force a pit stop. So, yeah, although it's only 20 laps, we will see a pit stop tonight. So I would assume, given the cold track, most of the guys will probably just split the race in half.
Yeah, well, it's a 50% fuel restriction, or 65 litres throughout the entire season for this season. Getting my words mixed up. So 50% for every track, so it doesn't matter. They're not really doing it for strategy. So we'll see what happens. I think it's going to probably be a 30-odd litre splash, just off a rough couple of numbers.
Yeah, so about what we saw last night in the second race of the top split of V8 Scops, just enough to get that bit of fuel in. You can grab a set of tyres and not lose any time as well. So that'll be what most of these guys will do, although with such a short race you probably don't even need the tyres, but you will find an advantage.
Yeah, well, even, I mean, we saw it last night at Imola. The guys, you start to go through tyres a little bit quicker. I think Suzuka as well is quite abrasive, and the first half of the lap works the tyres quite hard. So those fresh boots might help if you do split the race in half. You might see some guys go a bit longer, as we saw at Coda. Sorry, not as we saw at Coda, but as we've seen in previous races. Go longer and try and get a shorter qualifying car style at the end.
Yeah, although Suzuka is a track that I think both you and I don't really have much time for in terms of tin top stuff, Sam, this is an awesome track. And Corey Preston seems to be the fastest at it so far. He's jumped out with a 201.9 in qualifying. He's actually gone half a second faster than the next car, which is Mick Cracknell. But being the track is so cold, these guys will probably get a second run at it if they did stuff up their laps.
Yeah, we've just got about 3 minutes left in the session, so you've really got to be on it for your entire out lap and your 2 laps to get the times in. So it looks like Corey's going around again. Michael Cracknell's plopped into second. Luke Harvey into third. Brian Borg fourth. Brett Canazzi's just jumped into second, so that's pushed Cracknell and Harvey back to third and fourth. And fifth at the moment is Brian Borg. Thomas Hinz, who was in the box last night, is in 8th position.
And we're hearing Brett Canazzi's just signed with STC Motorsports, a team who we haven't seen much of for a while after they lost a couple of their bigger drivers, but starting to make a bit of a comeback. So Brett, that's a pretty impressive result to be up there in the top split. We don't see him at the pointy end that often.
Well, Brett's a guy who's usually known for his drifting, so it's probably a bit out of his element at the moment to be driving the car straight. In fact, he's just drifted it through one of the right-handers here, so he's in his element.
Well, we are in Japan, Sam, so it's all starting to make sense here for Brett. But the interesting one is going to be Michael Cracknell. I don't think that lap time's probably representative of his true pace. I reckon he's probably got a few more tenths.
He's just coming to 130R now as well. He's actually just dropped off my screen.
Likewise, actually, so that could be disaster for Mick Cracknell. Don't think we'll see Corey go too much faster as we're watching him now into 130R.
It's a very tricky spot. You've got to watch the off-track there. It's quite easy to push through that corner as well. Aero-dependent corner, and there's 0% aero on the V8 Supercar.
Tell you what, his car does look really good. It's actually quite planted, quite nice in this cold weather, and he's actually going to come across the line to do a 2:018, so a slight improvement from Corey Preston. We haven't seen Mick Cracknell, which means I'd say he dropped out. He would have posted a lap time by now if he was still there.
Yeah, his quality's down in the 20s, so I think he's about to disappear.
Couple
so we'll
guys
probably, Luke Harvey's finished. Ross Rizzo,
he improved on his second lap. I was just going to say that. So we're looking at Brett Loxton, yet to set a lap time. He's into the spoon curves. Now he's a little bit sideways. That's not quite going to be a 1x, but he's probably going to lose a fair bit of time off that. He's actually our last car in top split, so I think he's just happy to be here.
Yeah, I think by the drift he attempted there, he might just be having a bit of fun, but I think we saw him last week as well up in tops, but I'm not entirely sure. The name does sound familiar, and that car looks quite familiar as well.
Yeah, he's kept it nice and tight through 130R, so I think for him it's just going to be a matter of setting a lap time. He should make it to the finish line. It will be relatively close. There'll be about 5 seconds in it. But he rounds the last corner now and onto the front straightaway. That's going to be a 2:07.6, so that's just going to bump him above the guys who didn't get time to set a lap.
Yeah, so just to highlight the sort of tricky nature of this circuit, there's a current spread of 6 seconds from first to the last time set. That is the grid done, so on pole, Corey Preston with a 2:01.8, and second, Brett Canarzi. Michael Cracknell, who's just dropped out of the server, we might see him back before the gridding is complete, he's in third. Fourth, Luke Harvey, and then Ross Rizzo rounding out the top 5 with Brian Borg, Mario Vlasic 6th and 7th. 8th, Dennis Kateric, 9th, Thomas Hinz, rounding out your top 10 is Jeff Harley.
Yeah, over the page we're going to have Jason Quire in 11th, Michael T in 12th, Mark Samuel 13th, Chris D'Angelo in 14th, Phil Jones 15th, Stephen Varga 16th, David Lord 17th, Brett Loxton, our last qualifier, in 18th, and Sean Evans and Craig Jones with no lap time set in 19th and 20th.
We saw last night at Imola, Sean Evans likes to come through from the rear of the field, give him a bit of a challenge. So I look to see him coming through from the back tonight. I'd probably see him around the top 5 by the end of the race, providing things don't go sideways for him.
This track, although we were speaking about it not being too popular in this car, I think car of the future is probably more the term to use, because it did get raced a lot in the old car, Sam. I remember one of the biggest moments in V8's online official history happened here when Justin Ruggier ran out of fuel and lost the championship to Madison Down in literally the last probably 50 metres of the last race of the season here. So this track definitely can throw up some good racing and some controversies, so hopefully we see that tonight, but it's looking good for Corey Preston at the moment. Yeah,
and it's looking like Michael Cracknell's not going to make it back into the server in time, so that's going to bump everyone up a position. It's probably going to give Ross Rizzo the best start, because he's going to have no one in front of him if he does get a good launch to balk him at all.
Yeah, probably expect Luke Harvey to probably just hold that inside lane and then maybe go out wide, but we're going to see the revs starting to rise now.
Yeah, revs
here at Suzuka.
Building.
Green flag.
Oh, here we go. Corey Preston looks like he's got a good start there.
Good start from Harvey.
Canarzi, bad start. He's being swamped by 3 cars there. Brian Bork having to go to the left and get him around the outside into one ball. Sorry, Canarzi's got back to 5th in one corner. Hinz are very wide around the outside at turn 1.
He's going to get that gathered up though and go too wide with Jeff Harley into the S's section. Everyone's managed to make it single file. It's not really a section of road that it's too advisable to be too wide. Possible, but not fast.
Sean Evans is giving his best go at it, trying to get around the outside of Phil Jones. Stephen Vargan gets turned there by Craig Jones.
They head up through the Dunlop curves up the front.
This is the part of the racetrack I like the best. These 3 corners coming up, or the 2 they've just gone through in this hairpin.
Yeah, this braking zone down here, you absolutely throw
Watch
it
for
in.
a dive, because there's a big train behind Ross Rizzo. Hearing Phil Jones has had a spin at the back of the field. He's actually been tagged by the looks of it by Sean Evans.
Oh, big shot in the back. Sorry, I was just looking. David Lord has run wide coming into the hairpin and has collected 2 cars on exit. So we'll have to get a replay of that as well. That's been David Lord, Sean Evans, Chris D'Angelo and Craig Jones all involved in that shunt.
Yeah, that was a bit of an interesting one there. He's just completely missed the turning point and driven straight off the road.
He's tried
a couple
his
of cars
best
in the
to pull it
process.
up. Just no grip on that grass.
But there's a big angry train forming here behind Ross Rizzo and sort of Luke Harvey as well.
Yeah, Looking down into the chicane will be a next passing spot from most.
Dennis Kateric having a look on Mario Vlasic down the inside. The first part of chicane, can Vlasic hold it? No. Hins having a look around the outside.
He's got it done. Good move by Kateric there. Another corner that's very, very famous in world motorsport. They're hearing that Chris D'Angelo, as a result of that shunt down at the hairpin, is now out of the race. But taking a look up to the front, Corey Preston has stretched his legs. He has a 1.2 second gap back to Luke Harvey, and then a further 0.6 back to Ross Rizzo.
Yeah, so it goes Preston, Harvey, Rizzo, Borg, Cananzi, your top 5, and then Kateric, Vlasic, Hins, Rahali, Taljanic, your top 10.
Yeah, I think as long as Corey can keep it on the road, it's pretty much his race won. There's not really much he can do, but we're hearing that Mario Vlasic is coming back on Dennis Kateric. He's going to be looking to keep this car real tight through these double rights and get a good run off the secondary one so he can have a move down into the hairpin.
Kateric's blinking a bit as well, which is probably going to be putting Vlasic off just ever so slightly. And the blinking actually will cause Kateric to be feeling a little bit less grip. Borg is going wide of the hairpin. That's going to give Cananzi a chance up the inside, but he's not had the progressed exit.
Yeah, and the next corner coming up Spoon, and he's not really going to be able to. It's sort of one of those corners because it's so high speed on approach. You sort of need an overlap.
He's had a
can't
look.
really dive bomb.
He's had a look though.
Yeah, you can't really do it. Needs to be an overlap. Same can be said about
Borg is
130.
wide on exit though.
Yeah, his next chance is the chicane. He can't do it at 130R. You need to be down the inside prior to the braking zone.
Kateric's right up his teammates' rear wing as well.
Cananzi too deep into 130R. They're both too deep actually. Oh!
They've all gone deep.
Ryan Borg. There's a bump at turn at 130R on exit, and if you hit it when you're wide, it can shove you into that wall on the left-hand side really quickly. So Brian Borg got a little bit of a snatch there.
I'm just hearing from our director as well. No one's actually set a clean official lap yet. So now that we've just seen guys cycle through again, only 5 guys. Oh, Borg and Cananzi both off the road.
Dennis Kateric's laughing at this. He's made one move already. Hopefully he'll be able to make a second. Good recovery from Borgie.
We're on board with Mario Vlasic as he looks at the rear of that KSW Commodore of Dennis Kateric. Brightly coloured as well, a bit of purple on the front.
And Corey Preston extended another second over Luke Harvey, so he's walking away with this one at this stage.
Yeah, I think the pace Preston showed in qualifying, being 7/10 clear, he really didn't have to stress too much.
We see Mario Vlasic running a little wide here. This is going to open him up to Brett Cananzi into the hairpin. Brett just needs to keep it tight and then push out. But Vlasic just held the inside line.
There's a bit of an angry pack here forming behind Brian Borg at the moment. It's been the catalyst for a few interesting moments on the last couple of laps.
Yeah,
Kateric has looked very strong through this last half of the lap too.
Yeah, we know how the tyres can phase though, Sam, and all of these guys have had massive lockups and sideways moments in the last lap, so accepting Kateric that is. So maybe he's just got the tyres phased a little bit better than these guys right now.
Could have been slightly higher starting pressures as well, you never know.
See how he gets the run through 130R. Just struggling a little bit with that aero push, as we said, such an aerodynamically dependent corner. Borgie, a little bit
limits
wide.
on the brakes there. Kateric's got a good run out of the chicane.
That there,
we'll see him move in turn 1.
that right-hander is probably one of the hardest traction zones there is, because it's mildly off camber. It's downhill, goes right, and you're accelerating. So
Well,
you've got
Borg
good
nearly
traction
off the
there.
road again.
Makes turn 1 moves very possible.
So Preston cleared out by another 7/10 of a second last lap. Luke Harvey's got Ross Rizzo for company as well.
Yeah, I think. Oh, Dennis Kateric massive moment. That's going to give the move to Mario Vlasic. We'll see if we can get a replay, because that was a huge moment from Dennis. He just picked up the throttle and the thing's just rotated. He's done a good job to catch it, but it has lost him a position and probably some momentum. Bit of that understeering.
Ross Rizzo just running a very interesting line. Sorry, Jake, there to spot out into the hairpin. He's very high on entry, at least compared to Luke Harvey, and then sweeps it in for a late apex. He loses time on the entry, but gains it all back up on the exit.
Yeah, the way you sort of describe that corner is it's a little bit like complex at Phillip Island, Stoner into Honda. You're sort of coming off a very high load corner and then straight on the brakes and then going the other way. So the way you sort of set up the corner prior to that hairpin can change your line into the hairpin, and it just seems like Luke Harvey is able to keep his car a lot tighter.
Yeah, it might just have a bit more point in that ERA Commodore, which is, it's sort of semi-evident through that chicane as well. Borg looks pretty safe from Vlasic this lap as well. It's tightened up a little bit at the back of that pack. Thomas Hinds is right under the rear wing of Brett Canazzi. This is for the back end of the top 10. You've got Jeffrey Harley in 9th, Michael Talianic 10th with Jason Quire following him. All the battles are sort of calmed down now. It's a sort of a shadow boxing going on at the moment.
Yeah, Brian Borg was wide again at turn 1, so not only does he have to watch his incident count, but he's clearly dealing with a lot of understeer in that car.
Oh, Vlasic is having a look and he's turned him.
Yeah, very ambitious there. You should have been able to see that that gap was going to close and he just stuck his nose there. Slight bit of contact. Borgie very lucky to keep that thing out of the fence, but...
Yeah, and Canazzi's actually jumped his teammate Gateric into turn 1.
So that's dropped Brian Borg from 4th to 9th, I believe. No, 8th, sorry.
Yep, so he's dropped in behind Thomas Hinds and just in front of Jeffrey Harley.
Oh, Inzi's had a bit of a weird lag dive bomb on Dennis Gateric there.
He's got it, he's pulled it off.
With some net dramas, but he's made the move stick. Good move.
Very opportunistic move from Hinds there, showing he's got the skills in the comms box and behind the wheel.
He's a bit like you though, Sam. He's a bit better in the comms box than behind the wheel.
Hey, who beat you last night?
Pretty much everyone. Good on Inzi for getting out and enjoying the V8 both as a spectator and a racer. Gateric wanting to maybe have a move back. Inzi covers the inside into the chicane.
It's a bit of a weird braking zone into that chicane as well, because the road starts straight and then starts to kink to the right a bit towards the apex. So you can have guys who run the hooping line on the brakes and it encourages the dive, or ones who just square it off straight at the apex, and it's a tricky one to get a move done. As Canazzi goes wide into 1 again. He was right under the rear wing. So does Hinds. Hinds has gone wide at 1. That's going to let Gateric through again. Everyone's running off at turn 1.
Yeah, I'm starting to think maybe there is an 11km/h wind.
Possibly a tailwind.
Maybe a tailwind. Yeah, could have caught these guys out a little bit, because such a high-speed entry, that tailwind will make a big difference.
Preston! I've just looked at Preston and he's nearly put it in the fence. He's got a 3.5 second lead and he's nearly binned it.
Well, we'll get a replay of that, but I think maybe, we haven't done this for a while, Sam, but I think maybe given he's had a bit of a flamboyant moment, he hasn't had much airtime and he is leading the race, he might take a lap on board with Corey Preston next time round.
It's going to be a silent one though, Jake, because I know nothing about this circuit.
I know the whole track like the back of my hand, but not in the V8, so don't expect gears and stuff like that.
I think we could just turn this one up and have an onboard lap with us being quiet and save our voices.
Sounds good to me. We'll commentate Corey up until the start of that lap, so he's coming through the spoon section now, and looking back to Vlasic and Canarzi.
I think this battle for 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th is just going to sort of rage on until the pit stops at least. It's going to be who blinks first, but Corey Preston's coming through to the last chicane now to start his lap. So we'll shut up, crank it up, and have a lap on board. Alright, so we're just going to end that lap with Corey Preston because we've just heard news that Dennis Katerik has hit the fence quite hard and he's out of this race. He's just coming off that double right-hander. He's got a wheel in the AstroTurf and away he's gone. Hit into the outside wall. Thomas Hens was lucky to avoid him there.
Yeah, we were talking last night, a lot of drivers, about how slippery the AstroTurf at Imola is. It's just as bad here at Suzuka and he's just been caught out by that. And I think, having ridden on board with Corey Preston...
I'm just looking at Preston. He's just nearly spun it at the last corner as well, locking the rears. He's ragging it for no reason.
I think what I was about to say, Sam, is that the thing is with Suzuka is there's so much quick direction change that these guys are probably having to set these cars up quite loose to get that front point out of them. And you saw Corey Preston on our first lap that we went on board with him. He's so patient with that throttle through the first sector, and you can see he's just hoping that that rear end will stay stuck. And I would say a lot of the guys are in the same boat in this server.
We're looking at the battle between Mario Vlasic and Brett Canarzi for 4th position. So that crash from Katerik sort of split it up a bit. Hins has dropped off this train now.
Yeah, Canarzi is quite close to Vlasic though, especially through this S's section here. Up into the Dunlop bend. Obviously, Suzuka, a track so steeped with Formula 1 history, not so much touring car racing.
Yeah, so it's more of a winged and slicks track than anything else. Canarzi looks to the outside into the hairpin. That's a That's a bold strategy, Cotton.
Not the move I would have made. I probably would have been patient and tried to have a lunge to the outside, but we have seen Vlasic white lining it on the exit of that right-hander a fair bit, so maybe Brett's just having to get a little bit creative with it.
Well, it's not the line he was taking. He's not really white lining it. He's sort of taking a normal line, and if you are going to have a send to the hairpin, you've got to pop out last minute through that kink. And it's quite risky to do because if you've got to be close and you're potentially swiping the rear of the car, but he's right up his gearbox now into 130R. Two-way, this is not going to work.
Oh, Vlasic lifts, he knows. 130R, I believe the reason it's called 130R is because the radius of the corner travels through 130 degrees.
As Canarzi's gone deep at the chicanes, he's going to give Vlasic a look now. He's got to get the drive, he's got the run.
Yeah, he's got the traction. And the pit window is now open, we're hearing, and Ross Rizzo first to pop in.
Yes, that's almost splitting it in half. He looks to the outside of Vlasic. Canarzi went slightly defensive down the front straight.
It's not
Yeah,
even halfway through the race.
I said almost halfway, almost the half split.
Yeah, I was just commenting though. 2-minute laps around here. They don't feel that long, but it is actually quite a long lap. So we're actually on for a fairly long race here.
Yeah, targeting about 40 to 45 minutes for this one. So Kananzi holds that position from Vlasic. He stays in 4th position. Will actually be 3rd now because Rizzo has pit. He's rejoined in clean air. So we'll see what his pit stop time was, sorry, and we'll compare it to the other guys as they begin to pit. I envisage Corey is just going to go long because he's got really no threat from behind. He's got a 4.8 second lead and he's extending that by a couple of tenths per lap, so he's quite comfortable out front.
Yeah, I honestly think he'll probably, he can do whatever he wants, but he'll probably just split the race in half. He knows what the tyres will do over 10 laps, so may as well just do another 10.
Yeah, look, so 11.5 second stop for Ross Rizzo, so looking at about 20 odd litres.
Looking back to David
yeah, Mark
Lord.
Samuel. Name I haven't heard around in a while, or ever. Never seen him in top split before, but he's battling David Lord, who had that mistake early in the race at the hairpin that collected Craig Jones and Chris D'Angelo. He's got a very bent Commodore there.
Yeah, I think the rest of it's sprayed all over that hairpin somewhere.
I think a lot of it's in the passenger seat of Chris D'Angelo's car.
Not doing too bad considering. We're going to see Corey Preston go around again to start lap 10. So Harvey's decided to pit with 11 to go. Feels like his tyres have done just a little bit much. Hinzy's in as well. So I honestly think just 1 lap difference probably won't affect them all that much. I think maybe these guys are
Lots
just
of guys bulk people to the pit lane.
trying to get their cold tyre disadvantage out of the way straight away.
So it's Harley, Quiet, Evans, Samuel have all joined in the pit lane as well, along with Luke Harvey.
It'll be interesting. Who was it who...
Harvey, so he's 3 seconds slower pit stop than Rizzo, and Rizzo's gone past him. Cleared him by a long way.
So what do we reckon? Do we reckon that was fuel, or maybe stopping in the box, or that's a fairly large chunk to take
The
out of someone.
Suzuka, well, that's in the stop time alone, Jake, that number, so potentially a bit of fuel saving from Rizzo in the first stint. Don't know. He wasn't sort of in the draft range to be fuel saving. So Hin's 11.8, so it's looking like Harvey's just had a long stop. Oh no, so Jake's just saying everyone else in the 14s except for Rizzo and Hin, so playing the short fuel cheeky strategy game there. That's about 5 litres or so difference. That's quite a lot. That's almost a lap.
I think I've just got myself a little bit confused here. Where was Rizzo on the track?
He was third.
Position-wise?
He was third behind Luke Harvey.
Yeah, so wasn't
jumping
he like
Jake.
he was 3 seconds behind
No,
them.
he was one. And who we're hearing, Brett Loxton has crashed at the Dunlop curb. Yeah, so a bit of a mangled up Jack Daniels.
That
Commodore.
car was very broken prior to that crash though, so he's just trying to wield that thing around.
Yeah, so Jake, Rizzo was only 1 second behind Harvey before the stop. There
Yeah,
was
so he's
a
made
lot
a
in
bit
front.
of time in the pits as well. I think he's more than 3 seconds in front, so that's...
So Preston and Kananzi are in the lane, and so hearing that the difference alone of 3 seconds was just in the stop. The cycle time was equal, so the drive in and out by taking away the time in the box was the same. So interesting to see what that gap shakes out at. And also see Thomas Hins where he pops out relative to Kananzi.
Yeah, see, Harvey is... like... yeah, about 3.6 seconds back from Ross Rizzo, so he's actually made a bit over 4 seconds, so he's probably made a bit on the outlap as well.
Yeah, it's been an interesting one. Hins has done the same thing to Kananzi. He's jumped in by a fair way, and I envisage he'll be in front of Vlasic as well once he pits. Kananzi 18.3 seconds, so that's a a very long stop. That's 9 seconds longer than Rizzo and 4 seconds longer than Harvey, which has been the average as well.
Yeah, maybe Rizzo's short though. Could have.
Well, if it's short, then
it
it means Rizzo and Hinz are both short, so I'll have to listen to them. So Rizzo's actually right on the tail of Corey Preston now.
Yeah, I'm going to assume Ross Rizzo's taken nowhere near enough fuel. Unless everyone else is just way overcompensated, there is
Preston's
no way.
wide, always giving Rizzo a chance. This is the worst thing when you're a guy who's got pace, is you give them a sniff.
There was like 6 seconds between these two.
Yeah.
So that's...
Well, Corey's stop time would have been around 14 as well. Yeah, so 14.6. So
Still lost 3 seconds somewhere though.
I don't
Who
know.
knows?
I'm confused as well, Jake, just like you. We'll wait and see what happens.
Confused.
We'll wait and see if it, like, 2 to go, someone starts to...
Needless to say, we're glad because this has brought a race on. Hearing Vlasic is in, so that should cleanse the field now.
We see if Preston's got the pace he had in the first stint and this stint, he should drive away from Rizzo. And if Rizzo has to fuel save, he should drop back into the clutches of Harvey. And it's very hard to park the bus here.
This is the problem though. Corey's probably felt that he's very comfortable and had this one pretty much sewn up, but this could throw his rhythm a little bit. This will be a little bit intimidating for Corey.
We already saw one
come out of nowhere.
mistake this lap at the last lap, at the hairpin. He went a bit wide and gave Rizzo a fairly decent opportunity. So Preston's outlet was a 2:38, 39.8. We'll learn to read numbers there in a sec. Rizzo's was a 2:35.
Yeah. So
that's 4 seconds, but he wasn't. He was only 5 or 6 off the lead, so that makes sense.
The stationary time.
Yeah.
So there's a second as well.
Tom Sims is back in the lane, and actually, so Corey Preston had a slow lap as well on his in lap.
So we said Hinz and Rizzo had similar pit stop times, and we've now seen Hinz pit again. So does that maybe imply that Hinzy didn't take enough fuel?
Well, Hinz was racing hard, and it looked like Rizzo was sort of cruising. So we've just got to listen to what Ross Rizzo does, whether he is actually having to save a lot of fuel. So Italianich as well has had a quick stop, and he is behind Brett Cananzi. So we'll have to watch these two. So Rizzo and Italianich now, both they're on the fuel save alert.
It is a track that is quite easy to fuel save though.
We should get our director to make an overlay for when there's a car fuel saving. Whenever it's on camera, it just flashes up like fuel saver alert. Just make more work for him. Director says he'd love it, so for the fans it's going to come.
We're making promises we probably can't keep here, but...
No, writing checks our director can't cash.
Probably the only way you're going to be able to do it is have every driver have a big red button next to their sim rig to tell everyone they're fuel saving, and it sort of connects up or something. But yeah, looks like Corey Preston has put his legs out and...
put him out or stretched him?
Has stretched his legs, whatever you say. 8/10 faster than Ross
He's detached the fishing hook.
Last.
Every time.
Either way, although for Ross Rizzo, no, seriously, Ross Rizzo, if this works, it has been a good play, because although he's not going to be able to take the lead, he's massively jumped Luke Harvey.
He's 4.7 seconds in front of Luke Harvey. He's gone from being 1.5 back to a fair way in front. And if you're having to lift in a few places, that's fine, because you probably find you're getting a bit through the corner a bit better. So he's not going to lose too much time.
He's going to look after those Dunlops a bit better as well.
And if he saves enough now, the last 2 laps he can just white line it and try and park the bus, see what happens.
Vlasic not doing too bad either. P4. Yeah, just our directors brought up Evans and Rahali, and we gotta remember Evans didn't set a queue time, so he's up from 19th and he's up to 7th. So
I mentioned at the start that he enjoys coming from the rear.
Reminds me of the season that...
Harley's nearly got up, just giving him a turn there.
Reminds me of the season that Josh Muggleton was preparing for GT Academy, and he pretty much just rocked up at every V8 race each week with no qual time.
I was actually watching Sean through the long right-hander and he nearly put it in the grass on his own. So he's definitely committed at the moment, trying to stretch his legs and get away from Rahali and have a go at Talianic. He's only 3 seconds up the road, and he's looking at Jason Quire, David Lord side by side through the exit of Spoon. Looks like Lord's actually making the position, but Lord's lost a lot of front end aero elements, which is essentially the bonnet. So he's going to lose some straight line speed.
Dive bomb into 130R, could it be? Nah, Quire lifts.
Lift and get the run. I think he's backed off too much. And then he's tried to flick it in like a sprint car and it's not worked. This is pavement, Jason. It's not a dirt track. It doesn't work like that.
And then we see Lordy with a bit of internet dramas there, and then he's still having them. So that's probably playing on Jason's mind a little bit too.
So I'm just looking at Rizzo's lap times to see if he's saving a lot. And he's pretty much doing identical times now as he was in his first stint. So he's done 2:03.1 the last 2 laps. As viewing Tommy Sins run off of the chicane.
He's actually faster than Luke Harvey, so...
Preston's about a second faster than anybody at the moment, so he's checking out, sorry.
And Thomas Hines has pitted. A lot of the rear end of that Falcon missing, so he's shunted massively. That's a big accident. Remember when we mentioned earlier, Sam, that bump sort of halfway through the exit of 130R, he's hit that, hit the AstroTurf, gone right, caught it, gone left, not caught it, and that's gone straight into the, I'm not sure what that wall's made out of, foam or something.
It's just a wall, it's hard.
Yeah,
breaks cars. So I'm actually looking at Vlasic and Harvey. This is sort of a battle of the lap times at the moment. Vlasic is about 6 to 7 tenths of a lap faster than Harvey at the moment. He's about 3 and a bit seconds off him. We've got 7 laps to go. I think he can get there.
Yeah, that last lap by Mario Vlasic was way faster than any other lap he's done this race, and actually faster than his qualifying time.
It was only 3 tenths off Corey Preston, who's been extremely fast this race as well.
Yeah, so Preston's done fastest lap of the race with a 202.3. Let's see if he can beat it again, which he has, 202.0. So that is actually about a tenth off his qualifying time. So tend to see that on these colder tracks, guys getting quite close.
So a second faster that lap was Vlasic compared to Harvey. So I think Harvey's in struggle street at the moment, and it's probably helping Rizzo, who, if he is fuel compromised, doesn't have to worry as much now.
Yeah, Rizzo would be saving by now though. He's not fuel compromised. I think Rizzo's probably fine. Vlasic though, he's gonna still have to make it about 7 or 8 tenths a lap if he wants to even catch Harvey, let alone get past him. So it's still an uphill battle.
So director's just asking if if Rizzo might have been saving behind Harvey. His lap times don't suggest that because they're pretty much identical stint to stint. So yeah, in the first stint. So lap times are identical now as what they were previously.
Yeah, but he would have saved fuel just in the draft. Like,
but he wasn't that close though. He was like a second or second half off. So he's not in that beautiful sweet spot where you're actually getting a lot of a tow that you can afford to lift off early. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. If he coughs on the last lap, he coughs on the last lap. Down to 2.2 between Harvey and Vlasic.
Yeah, I reckon Vlasic is probably going to be able to at least catch Harvey. Whether or not he can pass him, that's something else.
The pace advantage he's got at the moment, I think he should just be able to pass him quite easily, provided he doesn't burn those tyres up. He's a second a lap faster.
Never know though.
Evans and Rahali is closing up again. Rahali was slower on the last lap, but it's closed up on this lap, potentially a mistake from Evans, and they're catching Talianic slightly as well. So that long stop from Canazzi has actually put him sort of in no man's land at the moment. He's got 5 seconds either side of him just to sort of chill around and not try and fence the car.
Yeah, we're going to have 5 more laps to go as of this lap. So Preston pulls another second on Rizzo, and Vlasic
pulls 4 tenths.
Now 2.1 behind Luke Harvey.
So Harvey's responded. He did 2:03.2 that lap compared to his previous laps Well, his last lap was a 203. Previous lap was a 203.6. I'll learn to speak in a sec. So he's responded nicely.
Check out the drop off of Mario Vlasic because of the tyres though. Pretty much a tenth a lap. 2.6, 2.7, 2.8. So probably expect him to do about a 2.9. It's normally around that third or fourth lap that the car starts to properly plateau and fall away.
Well, Rizzo's times have actually taken a steep drop as well. They've gone from 3.1s to mid 3s now, so he might actually be in the fuel saving mode.
Either that or he fried him up trying to keep up with Corey.
Yeah, he's just sort of hit cruise control as well.
Yeah, he knows he's got second in the bag as long as he's got the E85 to get it back.
As long as the engine's running, he should be alright.
Wow, I'm just looking at Vlasic Harvey. Just you can see Vlasic faster through every corner. He's just bringing him in visibly now.
Evans Rahali's tightened up again at the hairpin. Rahali's right under that rear wing of the ERA Falcon. Evans is struggling mightily at the moment. Oh, as I say it, Rahali tries to drift. So I thought Evans might have checked out and actually gone after Talianic, but he's struggled quite a lot. He's wide at the exit of Spoons. He's going to give Rahali a run.
I don't think Rahali's going to be able to do much this time by, but 1.6 seconds now between Vlasic and Harvey.
Is it possible that Sean Evans did not take tyres? Because that is my only explanation for why his car is very bad at the moment compared to everyone around him.
It is,
because if he's quick enough to come up through the field, you'd expect him to keep driving on.
It is, but I don't know why you would do that. You've got the amount of fuel.
Now, I'm thinking Rizzo's in trouble. He's just done a 4 dead. And he's shifting early.
Yeah, so he's realised. Right on board, see if we
Preston's off the road. Preston's off the road.
Preston?
Yep. He's gathered up. He hasn't hit a fence. He's just gone deep at the... where we're looking at Rizzo, the right-hander after that, before the hairpin. And he's off in the weeds. Doing a bit of landscaping.
Check the replay out of that one.
So Rizzo's got 4 seconds to play with as well.
Rizzo's massively short shifting now though. He's got 3 more laps to run, so about 7 minutes more running. He's
got 3 and a bit, 3 and like a third of a lap to go. So
if he's way low on fuel, he's picked a terrible time to think about it because he really needed to be saving from the beginning to make it time effective.
Yeah, and we're just hearing from our director, 2.9 seconds is the gap now. It was 4 at the start of the lap. So Harvey's pushing to catch Rizzo. Vlasic is pushing to catch Harvey, and he might even have a sniff at Rizzo if this goes south.
Rizzo isn't... He's saving, but he's not full clutching it or anything like that yet, so...
Clutching's ineffective though, Jake. Just roll out of it.
No, mate. Clutch in, ignition off.
Yeah. 1.3 Vlasic to Harvey.
Yeah, the thing is though, is what Rizzo's saving grace is probably going to be is Vlasic is probably going to catch Harvey before Harvey catches him.
So Jeff Rahali's actually just fallen off the back of Sean Evans as well. He's got them on screen. Is Brian Borgs for company now?
Borg is running turn...
wide. Rahali's off the road and there goes Borg. Come on through, mate. Open the door.
Borg's been running so hard into turn 1 this race, but we look up to Harvey and Vlasic. There's a visibly shrinking gap.
Yeah, he's going to be filling that mirror now of the ERA Commodore. He'll just catch flashes of this orange Commodore on the exit of turns.
There's nothing worse than looking down at that relative and seeing that ever diminishing margin.
Now it doesn't look like it's either that Vlasic's car is going off a lot. He did a 203.1, so he's done that tenth of a second drop off, as you said, every lap so far, Jake. Harvey's sort of got to a 203.3 and plateaued and just stuck there. Apart from that 3.6, and he did a 3.5 the lap previous.
Yeah. I think Harvey probably has enough. I think he has enough to keep out of Vlasic. Remember, it is only 2 to go next time by, and at the rate he's catching him, I don't think it's quite going to be enough. Not enough to catch and pass, anyway. He could be on the bumper into the last couple of corners, but might have one shot. But oh! Slow down, Luke Harvey.
Oh dear.
He's got it in 130R. He's just taken way too much curb, put the whole car over it.
Well, Vlasic just lost a golden opportunity there to try and hold tough around the outside, but he's got the traction. He's got a great run.
Harvey did that perfectly though. He perfectly served that slowdown. But
Harvey goes
Vlasic does
defensive.
have the run.
Vlasic just go further to the white
You don't
line.
want to dive there too fast. Could have an overlap. A lot of the corners at Suzuka aren't dive bomb corners.
That's what you say though, Jake. It's 2 laps to go. Just have a go.
Yeah, there's a fine line between having a go and ending up parked up in the sand trap.
Harvey is very wide through all of these sweeping corners, and Vlasic is just looking everywhere. We saw him look early in the race and actually turn Brian Borg, so might see it happen again. This is going to help Rizzo's cause as well if he is fuel compromised. Right, have a dive here. Let's go, Murray. Have a dive. He's
Not
shaping
here.
up for the dive. He's shaping up for it. Oh, what about it?
Worse than turn 1 at Oran Park. Can't dive there. But this is looking better. This is the kind of corner you dive. Vlasic needs to run this super quick.
Harvey's defensive. Crisscross. Not going to happen.
Could he almost afford to maybe give Harvey a nudge at the apex there, and then maybe use
It's an
that
American
little
server.
bit?
That's not going to end well.
Oh, you could have a nudge.
Vlasic is right to the white line through the right-hander here. Well, he's committed. These guys have committed now. Harvey's sort of responding in terms of the vigour with which Vlasic is driving his car.
Yeah, you get the feeling that poor Mario is just sitting there wheeling this thing, hanging onto it, trying to keep it on the straight and narrow.
It's almost like Harvey's decided, oh, I'm under threat now. Let's just start using 6th gear.
Vlasic weaving a little on the straight, trying to get in the mirrors of Harvey. Good run through 130R, not going to be enough to make a move.
One more lap remaining. Corey, 4.6 second lead.
Here we go.
From Ross Rizzo, but the battle's between Harvey and Vlasic for the final spot on the podium.
Vlasic has a good run on the straight. He's going to be closer. I think it's probably going to be the hairpin. Want to go?
No, he's got to do it somewhere on orthodox. Harvey knows the orthodox spots and he's defending them. You've got to try something different. Not stupid, but different. So have a go at those 2 right-handers because he's not going to expect it.
Yeah.
If you go somewhere that's orthodox or is expected, he'll just cover
It's
it.
a
as we
high-speed
saw at the
corner,
hairpin.
Sam, and oh, speaking of orthodox,
Yeah, something like that.
that was cool. I like that. Shame nothing came of it, but
Or even
probably unsettled Harvey
just
a little bit.
hold it tough through Dunlop and have a go at the right-hander because Harvey's going to cover everywhere that you'd expect to be passing at.
There's not a lot of not a lot of dirt between the apex of this corner and that tyre wall, Sam.
Yeah, that's all right. Just don't
But,
door him.
Here we go.
He's close now. Got to get a good run. He's not as close as the last
Gotta
lap.
go to the outside deep, keep him pinned and go for that crisscross, which is what he looks like he's doing. Maybe, not quite.
No, he's followed him in there. He's got a bad
that's
exit.
it. No, that's over. He's lost a bit of traction on exit.
There's
Maybe we
130R to
should-
come, and the chicane, Jack. It's not all done yet.
It'll all depend on his run out of spoon.
He's deep under brakes. Very deep.
Too deep.
Yeah, I know. He made up a lot of time.
He's going to have the good run on exit here. This could be on, actually. Depending on how 130R goes. Our race leader is coming into the final corner, but I think we should keep our eyes on Vlasic and Harvey.
He's pulled out too early.
Vlasic.
What are you doing?
Getting in the mirrors.
Now have a
Got the
dive.
run.
Have a
Go.
dive. Have a dive. Have a dive. Go! Oh,
They're both too deep.
they're both off the road. Cut the corner.
don't want to Rogers get DQ'd though. Corey Preston's taking the win. Ross Rizzo is going to make it home in second. And it looks like these guys are going to stay as is. Good battling there. Harvey's going to take P3 and Vlasic P4. Nearly running into each other after the line. A quiet one from Brett Cananzi to finish P5.
As Talianic just crossing the line in 6th, Sean Evans, 7th, Brian Borg, 8th. Rahali dropped off quite significantly and is in 9th. David Lord crossing the line for 10th position.
And a little bit further back, there's not too many close cars around this area. These guys are relatively split up. I think Brett Loxton is actually fuel saving that car to get it around the track. He's going the full clutch method. So this is the kind of stuff I support. And he's been disqualified.
So that's everyone finished. Then we pretty much run through the order. Corey Preston, our winner. Ross Rizzo, 2nd. Luke Harvey, 3rd. Rounding at the podium. The guys who didn't finish, Brett Loxton, DNF, so he's 1 lap down in 15th. Craig Jones, 3 laps down in 16th. Thomas Hins, 17th. Dennis Katerick, 18th. And Christy Angelo, 19th. And Michael Cracknell, who missed the start because of a disconnect, joined the race, joined the server quite late in the race as well, so he's 20th position. And I think we might wrap it up there as well, Jake, for this evening.
Yeah, I think so. Fantastic race tonight, Sam. I think everyone enjoyed Suzuka. It throwed up some bit of pack racing style stuff. But where are we next week? I believe Imola. So plenty of guys will be heaps of plenty of practice after the V8 Scots round just been. But as for tonight, round 3, Suzuka, JMSR Racing's Corey Preston takes your win. We'll see you next week.